Alright, ladies and gents, we got video running, and today we're going to do a quick look at a photo bag and a camera. The camera is a Leica X-U for underwater. I so far have done just dry land photos, and a friend of mine is going to do some underwater photos later on, but for right now we'll talk mainly just about the dry land usage of this X camera. Same as other X cameras except for the underwater feature. And this bag is a Overwork Bayruth, they call it. I think Bayrueth or something like that, German made. And inside we got the camera, and that's the Leica X-U. And here we've got the lens cap, this big rubber thing. I think going underwater, I'm not sure if you'd even take that lens cap underwater. Certainly take the lens cap string off, take off the wrist strap, or maybe leave that on underwater, I don't know. Anyway, I got the wrist strap with some other Leica gear. And so we have this big surround up here with a built-in flash. And then, let's see if we can focus on that a little better. And we have the usual features on here. This is a very primitive camera compared to a Leica Q. Not because of the sensor, but because it's pretty much seems nearly identical to me to the original X1 that I had clear back in the year 2010. So it's almost 6 years ago. And here on the back, the operation here is I push the EV button on top, and then plus and minus buttons to change the exposure value. Here we have a timer over here, 2 seconds, 12 seconds, flash. And down at the bottom is the underwater button, and when you push that button, the standard color features change, and it switches to the underwater color, and that's what it uses. It locks everything else out, so that's the color you get underwater if you push the underwater button. Otherwise you'd have to treat these things yourself somehow. So you have the play. Let's see if we can turn this on here. And there we go. And then we have the play button here. Now these buttons, you have to push them really hard because they're all waterproof, so the surface of them is just kind of blended into the camera body. And delete, white balance, ISO, menu. And like I said, it's just like the X1 pretty much, so I don't really see a difference. Better screen than the X1, so they've updated some of this. These dials, if you bump them, they do change pretty easy, and putting them into a bag, I've gotten kind of used to it. So and the other difference from the X1, of course, is the video button you see on the top right. The X1 didn't really have that. And I think we might have a stereo microphone here, pretty sure. So now in the focus dial, we've got autofocus, infinity, and then some other manual settings. All very nice. My impression of the photographic quality of this camera is that I like the look of them better than the Q, although the Q is technically better, a little sharper. But these photos are phenomenal. Now I've had 2 editions of the Nikon Coolpix A, which is half frame, APS-C, and those are good, really good. This is better. It definitely has a better look, but you know, it's a half frame camera, so that is what it is. Let's see if we can get anything important on the menu here. I shoot JPEGs only. I'm capable of doing RAW, I just don't like to. There's I use center weighted. I always shoot bursts if possible. The image stabilization on this camera, like the X1, it takes 2 pictures, combines them, so I don't use it. video stabilization, I haven't really proved that out yet. I've taken videos with and without. I think there's a difference. I think you're better off without it and stabilize the camera manually. But basically, this is, you know, you don't have any kind of optical image stabilization here at all. So that's why I say it's fairly primitive. And I've gotten along with all the standard settings here on contrast, saturation, all that. Yeah, let's see what else we have down here. Monitor brightness. I always turn histogram off, never use it. Auto review, always turn that off. Power, auto LCD off. Color space, sRGB. Wind noise, put on. Never hurts, unless you're using some kind of external, well, I don't even know if you can use an external microphone on there, probably not. This camera does, I think there's a Wi-Fi setting on here where you can transmit the photos, but you cannot connect this to a computer with a cable. It doesn't have an input, a USB input. So I actually have to take the card out to transfer my photos. And what else do we have down here? You can protect stuff, whatever. Firmware version 1.0. User profiles 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all good. Let's turn this little guy off here. And set this where we can open the door. Because it's waterproof, they have a little extra safety thing here. And then there we have the battery and the card right there. And I use a high-speed card, of course. It's always good. The one thing that's interesting about here is the bursts. Now when I had the monochrome, the bursts kind of went like ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. That's about as fast as it went. I suppose because of some kind of mechanical focal plane shutter or something like that. This is faster than that. It's more like blip, 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 but it's still noticeably spaced apart. And that's under ideal circumstances using high-res JPEG only. So I don't know what it would do if it was shooting raw. Then other cameras I've had, like the Q, you take a burst of 10 photos and that's it, they're done. So this is very different. So the shutter must be something more like a M camera or something in between. So there we have a pretty good look at that camera. And it is waterproof. You don't need to do anything. Take it out of the box, put the battery and card in it, and you're ready to go underwater. It's just made that way. And going back to this bag, it's a shoulder bag. Very, very nicely made. Leather plus some canvas here. I got the greeny version here, and then down in here we have a little pocket where you can put other things like a spare battery. And of course I got the spare Leica battery. I don't remember what this thing costs. It was a very small battery, but the lifetime of the battery seems to be awfully good. Going out shooting, I can walk around for many hours, maybe 6 hours, with the camera frequently on and taking at least a couple hundred photos, maybe 300, I don't know, but it seems really good for me. And it's probably because the camera's fairly primitive and doesn't have a lot of features. Of course, I keep Wi-Fi and all this other stuff turned off. So anyway, a really nice camera bag that perfectly fits this camera with a little extra pocket for whatever. And then of course on the bag here there's another pocket on the front. But since the camera fits in there pretty snugly, anything I put in there in that extra front pocket here kind of bulges out, so I don't use that. This bag, this Oberwerk, is that the right? Oberwerth, Beirut. They make a lot of different bags. This snap here is unique amongst all snaps that I've ever had on bags and clothing and so on. And when I got this bag, I tried like heck to pull this off of here because I figured it was just like any other snap. And it wouldn't come off. Unfortunately, I didn't kill it. But to get this open, you actually, you can't pull it. It just won't come off. You have to actually twist it a little bit and just keep twisting until, with a little bit of upward pressure, until it pops off of there. And that's how it works. How they engineered that, I don't really know, but that's how that snap works. Pretty nifty. Nice compact bag with room just for the camera and a couple accessories, and that is it. So that's the end of my video. My preliminary review on the Leica X-U, and maybe I'll do one later on underwater stuff when we get some of those.